Good afternoon, and welcome to another rancorous episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's that rambunctious rapscallion voice of Doom. Give me N. Give me Y. Give me E. Give me T. What's that spell? Niet. What's that? Oh, here come the police. Never mind. Well, come on all you big strong reds. Crazy Blad needs your help again. Got himself in terrible jam way down yonder in old Ukraine. So drop your vodka, pick up gun. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. And it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't know what's to gain. To die in old Ukraine. And it's 5, 6, 7. Open up the devil's gate. Well, there ain't no time to wonder why. Whoopee, we're all gonna die. And I tried doing it. Didn't pull it off as well as I thought. Parody. Song parody. In the tradition of Weird Al Yankovic. An old song from the 15th century. Country Joe and the Fish was the name of the band. I think that was probably one of their few hits. And it was a protest song. And it was very in your face and sarcastic. And it was great. We used to sing it in the back of the trucks on our road trips in high school. It had to do with getting embroiled in destruction. Getting embroiled in international brouhaha. Didn't want to do it back in the 60s. People did it out of duty, and maybe some people even understood why we were doing it. But mostly people were saying, what does Vietnam have to do with America? And I don't think people questioned as much as they do now. I really believe that in the last year, 2 years, people are paying attention more to what's going on, and they're paying attention just at the time when things are really going bad and really confusing, because our leaders are confusing, whether by accident or design, they're confusing. So, I was going to talk about a bunch of different things that converge into one big pile of crap. First, SOTU, they call it now. I was thinking it would be watched by a lot of people, at least for the first few minutes, to see how bad he does. And my buddy and I watched it, and he has always been apolitical up until, he had a certain, opinion, but he didn't pay attention to the details until he retired, and then he had the time to watch TV all day. And he's starting to realize just how bad our so-called government is. And he's starting to realize that I was right all along when I predicted the downfall of Western civilization. Although, as things go on, my initial predictions like 10 years ago would be like, we're going to suffer an economic collapse sooner or later, and he'd scoff at me. But as things went on, he starts to believe me more. So we watched, and we're making little side bets on whether he'll trip on the way down the aisle, or, when's the first time he whispers, or, when will the first ovations happen after he says something stupid like, I want to cure cancer? It's not stupid. It's pandering to people's, you can't not clap. And I think that the Goppers were very nice compared to how those insidious fiends were for the last SOTU. Now, I'm going to parse the words. State, that means condition of. I guess that's a preposition. I don't like having to dissect sentences. It's whatever. Of. Condition of the, I believe is an article, and the union, the country. The condition of the country. I'm going to make a speech about the condition of the country. I've never seen anyone do that. I think, did Carter actually use his Malays? I don't know. You always say we have problems because the other guys are stopping us from doing what we want to do. So you can always acknowledge problems. But these speeches are tiresome, and the only reason I watched was to see how bad he'd be. And before it started, I said, this is going to be worse than a Rob Zombie movie. And my buddy's like, no, not really. And by bad, I don't mean that Zombie made bad movies. I just mean it's going to be a more gruesome spectacle than anything that's ever been shown. So he started, and he did what we all knew he'd do. He talked about Ukraine. I think there were more Ukrainian flags in that room than American flags. I'm not sure, but I bet you if you count, you'd find out there were. And nobody's going to wear an American flag anyway because that means they're a white supremacist. It's code, dog whistle. So I'm not going to go into the detail. See, got applause when he said we're going to help Ukraine. Well, I'm going to sit on my hands for that. That's what Democrats do. They didn't applaud for anything, Orange Man said. Orange Man said he would want to start federally funded, veterinary colleges or, help save abused animals. And the Democrats would not clap for him. So they're horrible people. I don't want to belabor that, but I did say it would be worse than a zombie movie or scene, and it was, because if you saw Petri dish standing there taking in all the accolades and listening to all the applaud when he says he's going to cure cancer and he's going to stop everything and help Ukraine, he's going to do everything good, so you have nothing to not clap about and talk about progress, whatever. Yeah, we've made a lot of progress. Things are so much better than they were last year. Talk about gas and say, well, we're going to put tough sanctions on those people, but we don't want to sanction ourselves, so I'm going to open up the reserves. So we got 3 days extra gas, and I'm going to do a cut on the federal gas tax, so you're going to get 4% off on that. So good, he's making some great strides and progress. Now, I think Americans have to realize that there's utter demolition going on over there. Now, it's cultural cleansing. I can see what he's doing. He's demoralizing by just rampantly blowing up anything, and especially cultural things, and things that mean a lot to those people, and blowing up their kids, and the kids are taking up arms, and then they're combatants, and then they get blown up. And he doesn't care if his own army gets blown up, because I'm hearing that the Ruskies are taking on a terrible toll as far as their planes and tanks are all getting blown up. So it's World War II with modern equipment. It's not like struggle with the lumbering tanks in World War II and, the guy takes out his thing and, I missed, No. It's like, take out those 3 tanks. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody in them dead. Take down that plane. Okay, boom. Come on. You guys, what kind of world are you living in? Now, let's go to the worst case scenario. The guy's nuts. to even do what he's doing now. I don't know what his end game was. I think he thought he was going to just cow them into submission, like he'd maybe get a warm welcome. If they welcome him in the East, maybe they'll welcome him all the way. Or at least just not say anything, and one leader's as good as another. But no, apparently these Ukrainians aren't going to be taking anything laying down. And a lot of these Ruskies are going to be laying down, from what I'm seeing. And it's always harder when you're on the home turf. The home team always wins. And the other alternative is, what are they going to do? I mean, Ukraine can go on the offensive. Just march on Moscow. That'd be wonderful to see. I don't know. But he's a madman. Okay, so he's got himself in a horrible situation because he's got to keep on destroying things and trying to occupy things against a very formidable opposition. So, if he's anything like Schicklgruber, he's going to say scorched earth because he's gone too far already. What's he going to do? Back out now? Say, oh, okay, let's have a peace treaty. A lot of damage is done. People are getting killed all over the place and displaced. Just back out. I'm sorry. Well, you're going to pay. And it's like, well, I don't have any money because you sanctioned me. Come on, we're in a mess. So let's get back to the other mess. That horrible, sinister tableau that we saw on TV, which was the worst thing. And my buddy said, yeah, this is worse than anything I've ever seen on any screen, silver or gray. It's a horrifying tableau. That's a good word. I like it. 2 sentries, devil's freaking acolytes on either side of the head devil, the head demon, who was pretending to be stupid. On one side, we had somebody that kind of reminded me of a role that was played by Heath Ledger before he died. A role that kind of ruined him because it was so horrible. And I think we all know what that role was, and she looked just like him, and she was acting like him, jumping up and rubbing her knuckles together like some sort of a weird, I don't know who does that, Wolverines. And to the other side, the gargoyle, the Medusa. You can't really look at her straight into the face because something may happen where you turn into a pillar of salt or something of that nature. So that's horrible. And they are smiling and nodding and smiling and smiling and smiling and nodding and clapping and jumping up like a couple of 7th grade cheerleaders at a golf match. Now, it was horrible. I can safely say, if they ever ask me, what's the scariest thing you've ever seen in a movie or TV, I will say the SOTU by Petri Dish with his 2 gargoyles at each side. Horrible, horrible thing to see. I'd much rather see House of 1,000 Corpses than see that. So, the replies were predictable and kind of out of left field. We had the usual Gopper reply from a person from the deplorable area who didn't buy into all this crap, and she's a good person, and she said the obvious. I mean, it's not going to be too hard to say, you want to talk about State of the Union or what? Of course, he ends with, the State of the Union is strong. Well, we'll see about that. So it's the usual goppers, and I don't think they'll accomplish a damn thing, even if they win. But I know what I'd do if I won. I'd vote on getting rid of the filibuster, like, right after the election. You know? And then, okay, let's vote on that now. And the other opposition of his own left wing, and she wants to forgive all debts of students. This isn't really fair. And get the homeless situation taken care of by giving them all homes. I guess there'll be open real estate in a few years. There'll be plenty of space. But the usual left-wing dribble-drabble. She didn't really insult him, but she just said what she probably wanted to hear from him. So it's all good. Let them do what they want. I didn't really say a whole lot. I think I just wanted to update you. Truckers are still in the farm equipment company doing a rally. So I'm going to talk more about this convoy business, all kinds of convoys. There's 2 convoys, and my next episode is going to talk about them because to get down to what the heck everybody's actually doing. So I'll leave it at that. I didn't say anything, but it might have been good. Good afternoon.